Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for How CoorsTek Upped Their Sales Order Data Management. I'm Denise, and I am delighted to welcome Cindy Kong and Bob Sendek from CoorsTek. They have a great success story to share today, so let's get started with some very quick housekeeping. Before we transition to the main event, I'd like to share a little bit about the dynamic tag team we have with us today. Cindy currently serves as the Principal Business Analyst for CoorsTek. Her more than 20 years of IT and ERP implementation experience in multi-location, multi-language environments has given her a deep understanding of business processes. Cindy has worked in many positions from developer to project manager and has directed all aspects of software development, consulting, and implementation teams. Bob is Director of the Global ERP Manufacturing Execution and Supply Chain Portfolio at CoorsTek. With more than 20 years of experience and expertise in systems development and architecture within the ERP, supply chain, quality, CRM, PLM, e-com, QMS, and field service applications, Bob has been leader of high-performing teams among business system analysts, developers, project managers, and infrastructure professionals. It's clearly no wonder Cindy and Bob have a really cool success story to share today. So, without further ado, besides my challenge to navigate, I will transition us to the main event.
Thank you for having us to speak about the 32Soft loader for sales orders. Wanted to first introduce you to CoorsTek and the company. So we're an engineering ceramics leader. We work with multiple materials. We have many different solutions that we can use. We have over 500,000 square meters of manufacturing space across the world. And we have over 6,000 team members throughout our worldwide network also. We have factories in Europe, multiple factories in Asia, and factories in North America. Where do you find our ceramics? Pretty much everywhere. We are a very hidden company, but pretty much you interact with CoorsTek on a day-to-day basis. We have a lot of aerospace and defense items. Pretty much every car has some level of CoorsTek ceramics in it. Electronics, a lot of your cell phones have CoorsTek in your cell phone as the ceramic substrate or board. Semiconductor, we are very involved with the manufacturing of semiconductors. So we make the products that make products. So why did we come to 32Soft? We had a lot of customer requests. We had large volumes of sales orders. We have large quantities of sales order lines. Many of our customers give us a purchase order for the year, and those can go 500 to more lines on a sales order. On top of that, we have to update due dates. And we need to be able to link our purchase orders to our sales orders sometimes. So a lot of requests around that. The intercompany coordination, we need to be able to coordinate information between our different facilities. We do a lot of buy-sell between our facilities, and we need to make sure that we're able to do that easily without duplicating efforts. And that communication between sales and planning. And then finally, when you are doing entries into QAD, there's a lot of human error possible, and we need to make sure that we actually had a very complete order and we had the rules around it that QAD doesn't enforce.
So one specific case study is we have a facility that mainly doing the buy-sell of transactions between Japan and the US. But the coordinating needed, one is between facilities, between Japan facility and the US facility. Another coordination is between planner and the purchase and the sales team. So one is every time if we have the sales order and the purchase order, in the past, they have to enter separately. When the sales order increase, decrease, quantity, change date, purchase order need to do that as well. So it's very hard to coordinate. You would say maybe QAD, EMT should be able to achieve that, but unfortunately with CourseTech, so many customization, it's really hard to use EMT to process. Another big hurdle is that Japan is not use QED right now, so they cannot view our information in QED system. So when we end up use 32Soft, is we can download the information from US, send them the information whenever their planning team said that this we cannot deliver on time. They send the revised due date and the reason back. We can utilize 32Soft to update both sales order and purchase order. At the end of the year, we need to go through all the existing open purchase order to coordinate with Japan what's a revised date. And this activity, because so many hundreds, even 1,000 lines need to update in the past without the tool, it takes like a week, even more, to update purchase order and sales order, and the result is not perfect as well. So with this 32Soft tool, we can get the real-time coordination between US and Japan team. In the past, the process always, they send us back, we have to align the order and the line, and it's like a moving target. One person handles this, and when it's shipped, she needs to realign. When there's a new order coming, she needs to realign. It's very hard to do it. It's very cumbersome. So she was in the edge of break before we say that we can possibly help you. So with this 32Soft tool, all the coordination decreased at least 60%. And now the 1 week's update, she can finish within like 6 hours, sometimes even 2 to 4 hours.
As we know, MRP is driven off of due dates, and it was a very difficult, based off of the number of sales orders lines, to always keep those due dates up to date to drive MRP correctly. So in most cases, people would ignore the due date, couldn't use MRP, and of course, you know, the thought is QD is broken, right? Because MRP is not accurate, we can't use MRP, and it really comes down to the data that drives MRP. With this tool, we made it easy enough to where it's easy to keep the due date up to date, which keeps MRP up to date. So we've been able to use our system to drive this much better, and it's been very successful. We've been able to standardize this process across the globe. So even though CourseTech has currently 4 instances of QAD across the world, different versions based off of different geographies and so forth, we've created the same loaders. We have several other ones that we use that we're using the exact same loader for all the different environments. We'll be able to standardize those processes, whereas we wouldn't have been able to do it if we didn't have 32Soft there. And then, QAD allows you to do many things. There's not a lot of guardrails in QAD. We've embedded validations within the 32Soft loader to keep people from actually making mistakes and automate some of the information so we don't have to have people think about it so much. So 32Soft gave us the ability to easily embed that validation and process improvements across the board. I want to say, we talked about this one factory that does a lot of intercompany transactions with Japan, but this loader is used in all 25, let's say 20 sites in CourseTech that use QAD. and allows everybody to leverage the functionality within the loader to modify, enter, copy sales orders.
So currently I'm demoing something that we are going to download all the existing sales order / purchase order for one of our site that's doing the lot of resale process. So you can see this facility, we have over 1,000 lines at year end. Or actually every week, end of the week, they filter on the due date. Like for example, say everything due within next week, end of next week, they send the list of the sales order to Japan team. They look at those sales order, and then basically the left side are sales order information. From here, if there's internal PO, this flag yes, it will start to load or modify purchase order information. Like this line does not have purchase order, so might not build the link or might be not create a purchase order yet. But most of the line you can see it have purchase order associated. Our linkage between sales order and purchase order is the item and quantity must be matched, and then date between due date between sales order and purchase order you can update. So they will download based on the due date. Say for example, end of next week, they'll get hundreds of records, send this to Japan team. Japan team will review the revised due date, update the revised due date and the reason code for the due date, and the US team is going to review the due date and consider what the due date for the sales order would be, because sales order and purchase order might be between 3-4 days difference. So they will update both sales order and purchase order based on the revised due date. This is a due date update. And then they use SO modify tab to upload the revised due date. From sales SO entry point, if say this customer next time they want to order this product again for the different due date, they can use SO entry tab, put a specific sales order. Say for example, this sales order, they want to mimic the sales order. They use sales order and use download. Then they will take out the sales order number and update the due date, order date, due date, order date, quantity, and then validate. Use a validate function to, we have the validation, pre-validation here that order date cannot be before 1 week before today, or for very old order date. So order date need to be validated to make sure you are not just copying. And then for the line number quantity, you need to put your due diligence to here to say, oh, what's the quantity we want to order here? Change the price if needed. Default, it will get the price list you set up. And of course, update the due date. So once you update it, before upload, we can use the validate function to make sure so it will say internal PO, it will pre-validate the PO number to make sure it's not duplicate. So I bet this is order date, like what I said, cannot be 1 week prior to today. So this When you move your cursor over, it will show the arrow. For test purpose, I'll put today's date on it and validate again. Once data validated, you can use upload to generate the sales order and the purchase order in the system. It's that fast. Once it's generated, the sales order number and the purchase order number will be showing up in the loader. This is generated purchase order number as well. So by doing this, all the sales order and purchase order generated. And then you can log into QAD to verify the information. So this is generated sales order. This view sales order will get the sales order information from QAD. Allocated in the inventory. So this allocated inventory is going to look at all the similar to our QAD standard inventory allocation inquiry. It will inquiry this item for this site currently, how many quantity on hand and how many quantity has been allocated. So you can see the real time if how many inventory is still available to allocate. Give you some idea what's expected due date. So this button is our favorite MRP detail inquiry. It will show what's current quantity on hand, all kinds of demand and supply. So if somebody did not log into QAD, the planner or buyer, they can just use this button to find all the information they want. So this lookup buttons, if you forgot the name of the sold to, you can put in like first few characters.
If you don't know the customer number, you can look that by customer name. And then you can double click on it and it'll fill in the number. It's so much easier, to do it by name than by number. The reason I actually found 32Soft and engaged with 32Soft was we were doing a project in Japan, and there was a requirement from Japan that they wanted to be able to enter sales orders and interface with QAD via Excel. Honestly, I laughed the first time I heard that, and I thought it was impossible. So we did some investigation and we found 32Soft, and we started working with this team, and we found that actually nothing's impossible when you work with 32Soft. This really comes down to defining your requirements. What do you need to do? What does the user need to see? What fields do you need to pull in? What fields do you need to put back into QAD? And what sort of validations do you want around those fields? It's that was really the driver. And it's interesting because that project with Japan actually did not work out with QAD, but we brought that to the rest of CORSTech as a new tool, and it's been an incredible success since we've done that.
Yeah, and I would add that since we start to use 32Soft, not only we gain efficiency, and we add a lot of accuracy and consistency. Everyone you talk that have used 32Soft has good feedback on that.
And I would just add that, for every loader that we've engaged with 32Soft, we've taken the, a demo version of the out-of-the-box that 32Soft has provided. It does work in our system, but it's normally missing, as Cindy said, our customizations. So we've worked with the team, worked out what sort of modifications that we need, and it's been it's normally an iterative process going through the modifications to a final product. but it's been a very, I'd say, very good experience, very streamlined, very knowledgeable team at 32Soft that allows you to take those base configurations and configure/customize those to your needs. So currently we use 32Soft for sales orders, and then we also use it for purchasing. So purchase orders we use for cycle counting, forecast, right? Oh yeah, how could I forget forecast? So we use those for loaders. We also are investigating 7.9.2 shipper loader that we are probably going to put in place at one of our facilities to help with the shipping process. We actually have another loader for shipping, the old SC version of shipping, the 7.9.5, that we're using in some of our facilities for shipping through that screen. There was actually no resistance.
Wow.
a lot of happiness. So I mean, I think it's been one of those pleasurable IT projects, and sort of odd that I don't really have much bad to say.
The most of the loader going through smoothly, and if there's any issue, generally we'll get feedback with, as fast as we can, and everything run till now is very smooth. Yeah, another thing I would say we love 32Soft is the pre-validation. So
With that, I'll turn this back over to Denise at 32Soft.
Thank you so much, Cindy and Bob. Fantastic. And we didn't pay them to say all those great things. Very, very much appreciated. I did want to just mention that today Cindy and Bob demonstrated how they were able to improve their sales order data management with specifically the multiple sales order data loader. I just wanted to say, for anyone who may not already be aware, there are indeed more than 80 loaders available for every major QAD data management process. And where you see those quantifiable results achieved, they are actual client results, just a handful that we grabbed of statistics that we had handy. So those are not what could be, those are what has been actual results. Also, all the data loaders, every one of the 80, can be tried for 60 days with zero obligation. So you get to see how they will perform in your environment. Also, I wanted to mention that looking ahead, we will kick off our 2023 monthly webinar series on January 18th with visualizing data in QAD. Our very own guru, Don Lindsay, returns to help us understand just how useful recognition tools can be. So schemas, taxonomies, and others are used everywhere in QAD. So you might want to be sure to join us for that one in January. So we will go ahead and finish up for today. Each new year brings new opportunities in life and business, but we must be able to recognize complacency, because in both life and business, progress cannot be generated when we are satisfied with existing situations. We have a lot of opportunity coming up in the new year, so keep your eyes open for where those can be. As always, thank you to each of you for taking the time out to join us today. It's very much appreciated. And a big thank you to Cindy and Bob for your time as well, and for sharing your story. And Christian, not to be forgotten, your expert support is always greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much, and wishing each of you a holiday season filled with all your favorite things. From all of us at 32Soft, have a great day, everybody.